The day of Terra Genesis. Coulson, this is Dr. Garner calling again. I just want to call and check and see if you made progress on finding Sky. I know you're very busy running Sheild and trying to find her after what happened. Look, I just want you to know that I may have been a little hasty when I told you I'm done helping Sheild. Anyway, look, I know I have my issues with Sheild and how I handle people, but I wouldn't forgive myself if I just abandoned Sky like she's not out helping her. I still believe I can still help Sky through this difficult part of her life, trying to get through these powers of hers, trying to. And look, I just want to know when you find her, and that if she still needs help, if you still need someone to help in this matter, I just want to know I'm here when you need me. And Colson, if you could tell me that 2 hours over, Colson got you call back. When the deep show? What is this? What is this? What was it? Oh god, wait, what's happening to me? When? Oh my god, no. Seriously, Colson, how could we be in favor of this? In favor of this, allowing the MARD to capture innocent humans, put them in those jelly-like prisons, just to keep the world safe. It's bogus. Look, I know. Look, I agree if Agent John's here, Colson. What they're doing to my people is unforgivable, and actions need to be taken. Look, I understand your feelings, both you, Daisy, and you, Karnak, but I'm asking you not to insist that the royal family take drastic measures in this matter. Why not? Look. I agree that what the MARD is doing is wrong, but it's not entirely what is not entirely bad. What do you mean? They said that they're close to finding a cure. Impossible. There's no cure to what makes us inhuman. Well, that's what Max Modell thinks. He strongly believes that he's close to finding a cure. And after I had a chance to talk to him, I believe that his means is genuine. Look, his parents. He had to watch as his parents die of cancer throughout his childhood, and how it inspired him to become a scientist to help cure diseases. And you think that it being a human is a disease that needs to be cured. I didn't say like that. But what did you mean by that, Colson? Look, what I mean is that not every inhuman that goes through every inhuman should go through a change. You know, every human to be forced to live the rest if they don't want to. I mean, come on, Si. Remember, see you for example, Daisy. When you first got these powers, you wanted to get rid of them. Yeah, that was before I understood what it truly means to be part of this society. Colson, that was before I knew what being a human could really mean, and the legacy I was a part of. Telling humans that that they can be cured, denying them on who they could be, honest, but true, Daisy. But then again, Colson might have a point. Wait, hold on! Don't tell me that you're starting to agree with him and what Tyler's doing. But, look, before the Terrigen Wave incident, what we did at Atron, there was a purpose what we do in Atron. There was a certain system put in place at Atron. Every new inhuman that we encounter in the outside world that we bring to Atron, we each meet separately, individually, to determine their own personal agendas, if you will. You do, and although every inhuman is different, before they're human, they have lived before every person who lived their lives before learning of their heritage and learning that they're inhuman have lived very odd lives. Take Reina, for example. Before she learned of her true heritage, she lived a life as a criminal, using her unique ability to persuade certain individuals to do what she wants, do whatever she wants them to do. Has made her very unfriendly. In fact, that she Yeah, but she changed. What she did was she could use the powers that Miss gave her to use. It is our role as royal family to determine if the person that that does possess inhuman markers should change, to make sure that the person that the person that we allow to go doesn't misuse their powers. I mean, there's more Inhumans every day that are using their powers for their own selfish needs, and those that were given powers that are beyond their control could pose damage. Perhaps if this doctor really can cure certain Inhumans, that humans of having of these powers that they have no hope of controlling, could not be a bad thing. Nothing. But what about them in prison? They don't have to. They shouldn't have to live in prison like that. And I tend to share my own personal views on how the MRD is killing humans after I meet with the president. Wait, the president, as in the president of the United States. Yes, General Talbot has arranged for me to meet the president as his consultant, so I can serve him my understanding of how to deal with the inhuman situation. It is my hope that I can convince the president and those that help support the MARD and creating new ways to contain the Inhumans without taking away their free will, and better turn if the Inhumans, and to make sure that those that actually want the cure do get the cure, and those that don't are not forced to be cured. To be cured. I suppose if I could take on this photo, I'm sure the Inhumans, my fellow cousins would appreciate if one of their royal family members would participate. Of course, I'll arrange it with Talbot, and I should go too, making sure that so I have I don't want to go too close in. I think I should have a say in this man. Very well, but I'm sure. Yes, you're right. I'm sure. I saw this time that you and Tyler had your own personal conversation on how the MARD is dealing with the inhuman situation. Then you must excuse me. I must talk to my king and queen on this revelation immediately. Of course, but on your way, can you, if you find out the guard, tell him that if he gets something his report on his latest. On his current interview with with Dante, to see if he I'm sure it would benefit us if we had his own person at the October meeting. Of course, I'll talk to him immediately. Talk to him. I'll find him before he leaves. Before he leaves. Can you believe it, Lincoln? A cure. Yeah. The whole like the so-called cure actually gives the MRD the right to imprison Inhumans the way they are. I mean, you should have seen it, Lincoln. It was something from an old '80s horror sci-fi movie. The way those Inhumans were locked up, it was insane. Man, I don't know how I would react if I was forced into a cell like that. I don't even want to think about that. Think about that. I mean, you agree with me, right, Lincoln? Lincoln, you agree, right? Honestly, Daisy, I'm not sure what to think about what you just told me. What's that thing about? The MRD is taking away those Inhumans' rights to freedom, while hunting them down, while killing in those freaky prison, and then offering them the false promise of a so-called cure. It's really but Daisy. You and I have been helping Sheild contain this inhuman situation for months now, and we've encountered all sorts of different Inhumans. Most of them, a lot of them horrifying on the change that they went through, and some were actually looking to kill themselves, and would have if we haven't intervened soon enough. So what he's saying, I'm saying is that maybe if this so-called Max Bodega actually does have a cure for Inhumans, then maybe we should give him a chance. Wait, what? Are you serious? You've been an Inhuman longer than I have, and you're actually okay with this? Daisy, look, I have helped the royal family for a year for almost a year before the Washington incident happened, and during that time, I have seen how Black Bolt, Medusa, Karnak, Gorgon, and try to have specifically chosen what's inhuman had the right to go through the mist, and a lot of Inhumans that they found over the years, they weren't allowed to go through the mist because they, after having spending time with them, they learned that they weren't meant to go through the mist. They had a system in place, choosing what's Inhuman should go through the mist, go exposed to a treasure mist, and who shouldn't, because I mean, take the girl that Melinda May killed in the Brock Lane story that I told you about, that you heard from both from Agent Coulson and from Maximus, and from Maximus, how that girl allowed those powers that she was given to drive her into insanity. I mean, controlling people based on their most feeling, on their pain, and trying to kill them if they couldn't provide that nourishment that she needed. Yeah, and how you understand why May had to make that call with it. Look, and May never have had to kill that little girl if her mother didn't insisted that didn't think that he should have been that denied this gift, that she would just listen to what Black Bolt told her, that her daughter shouldn't be allowed to go through Terrigenesis. Yeah, but and even Lash. I mean, look how much damage Lash is doing. I mean, he's killing his own kind. Daisy, don't you think that someone like him should be given this cure so he wouldn't hurt any more innocent people, innocent Inhumans? Yeah, but there are only just a few instances. That doesn't mean that all Inhumans are bad. Of course not, but still, the idea that that actually exists that can cure Inhumans, possibly even mutants that don't want to live life of being hated anymore, they should. They should be given the right to cure. You know what? I'm done having this conversation with you, Lincoln. I'm not hearing this anymore. Come on, Daisy. Don't be like this. Daisy. Darn it. Darn it. I was gonna do it. I was gonna kill him, but no one warned me that he would change into that thing. Hey, May. Hey, May. Hey, May. Hey, yes. May. Oh, yes. Agent Koenig. Are you okay? You've been nowadays ever since Warner got away. Are you sure? Are you sure? Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. Well, here, this should. Here, I thought you might need something to need something. Might need a drink. Thank you. Hey, look, don't worry about. Look, if you're upset that you let Warner go, don't worry about it. We'll get him eventually. We'll get him eventually. Eventually. Get him eventually. Thanks, and thank you for helping out back there. I guess you're not completely useless in the field after all. I'll take that as a compliment coming from you, Agent May. Agent May. Tell me, Koenig. Tell me, Koenig. As part of your duties helping Coulson run Sheild, do you keep track on all the agents' whereabouts? Of course, that's one of my jobs. Making sure it's my job to log in when how many agents are in a certain Sheild facility, as well as determine how many agents are leaving the base to go off when they must take personal time, how long they go, where they're going. It's all. I have a record right here. But I don't suppose you have a record on Andrew, don't you? On how many times he enters the base, and where he leaves and where he goes to. Of course. Why do you ask? Okay, I'm just curious. So, when we touched on it, I was hoping, can you give me oh, you have a record? Yes, why? May I ask why you're so interested in where your ex-husband has been off to these past few months? Okay, I'm just, there's this lead I want to follow. It could be nothing, but I need to make sure. I suppose you can give me more insight on why. Please, can you just help me with this? Of course. Sure. You're the boss after all. Here you go. Here's, or your boss after all. Look, are you sure about this? Are you sure it's Ava? I won't get in trouble. Come on. Come on. Come on. Aren't you tired of following by Shield's rules? Besides, I think this is what you need to get yourself out of a funk of yours. Well, I mean, I'm not in any funk. Yes, you are. You're in a funk regarding the fact that you're here so much of other feel about you that you don't have enough. That you're not spending enough time to focus on what you want to do. On what you think what exactly do you think I would like to do? And that is to have fun. And besides, you need this. You need this. Okay, what exactly we're going to do? We're breaking into so are you taking me into Dr. Andrews' office here? What and why are we doing that? Because it's fun. Peeping into our girl's personal stuff. Besides, I want to know why Dr. thinks that he has the right to come into our lives, giving us these, essentially have these talks of his, just as a way of thinking that they're actually helping us. Helping us. I don't know about this. I don't want to get in trouble by Daisy. If they have to, I don't think they'll ever let me go on another summit ever again. Don't worry about it. Look, don't worry. Stick with me, Kay, as long as and I promise you won't get caught. As long as by anyone. What are you two doing? Lincoln, we were just. Are you breaking into Dr. Gardner's office? Gardner's office? I mean, what are you doing? Just having old friends. I mean, after all, don't remember days when we used to do it when we were younger? Yeah, back when we were kids. I mean, look at us, we're adults now, Ava, for Creek's sake. I mean, honestly, what are you two thinking? What are you thinking right here? Last thing is, what is this? What's what? Do you know what this is? No, and you do? This is and you do? Yeah, it's a, yes, yes, it's a ledger. It's a ledger that used to belong to Maximus. I remember seeing this in his old office back in Atalan, back when, before we all learned what we learned with Pete Jerkface see it. What Pete Jerkface is. Anyway, and who's back again? My sister's evil brother-in-law. He formed an alliance. He's the reason why for Terra we had to expose Terra to the entire planet, because he formed an alliance. Unknowingly formed an alliance with Ultron, which almost resulted in the extinction of humanity, which meant the eradication of not just humans but inhumans and mutants as well. But thanks to the help of the Avengers and other heroes, we stopped him. Oh yeah, I heard about that little mess. So especially that's who I also had to thank for becoming a human. Well, good for that. But why is finding that Max's ledger here? And it's such a big deal, because this could actually help us determine who Lash really is. We need to talk to someone we know, ensure that we know we can trust. And who might that be? I think I have an idea. Did you Lincoln? Mac, we need to talk to you. We're not in Sheild. Somewhere outside. Look. We need to arrange a meetup somewhere outside, miles away from the base. Okay. Okay. Where's the fire? I mean, what's so urgent? I mean, to meet such females. Look, it's better that we meet somewhere. Look, listen. Look. Let's say we might have a lead on who Lash could be, but we can't discuss it here. Just trust me on this. It could mean life and death. All right. I'll humor you this one. Just give me a minute. Besides, after I get pulled off, Coulson and the others are busy trying to arrange a meeting with the president. make me president of the United States, so we might have time. Okay then. I got it. Welcome, uh, uh, welcome, welcome aboard, General Talbot. Colson, Colson. Always pleasure. I was wondering what the inside of this plane looks like. Pretty impressive. And is that an active of bar you have over there? It sure is. I have to admit, you Shield guys really know how to live a life of both of high risk and comfort. Yes, we believe that unless the Shield resource to be dedicated towards preserving the peace, we also should create an environment where agents don't have to live in such type of conditions. That's why that's why these were created back in they used to have, and in fact, and fun fact, Shield used to have a dozen of these mobile command units, just like this one, back before we had helicopters. Well, if I was in charge, I would keep these. I would have a fleet of planes like these in my disposal. My thoughts exactly. We never got firmly introduced, but let me introduce you. That's why he's Daisy Johnson, aka Quake. Of course, the only time we have met is when you and your fellow agents broke into my secure government facilities, trying to make off with dangerous tech that should belong in Shield's business and not in the army, like the Diviner. If it was in our possession, it never fell into Hydra's hands. Hydra's hands. Perhaps. I suppose. Yes, Daisy has offered to give you a tour of our newly purposed mobile command unit, as well as give you a little insight on how we secure and how we contain Inhumans after we encounter before your unit does. Of course, by all means, Agent Johnson. And where's this Karnak person you told me about? I thought is he joining us? He is. He's around. But he's addressing his royal family on this matter. A cure? Are you sure, Karnak? According to Director Coulson, this Maxwell strongly believes that he's close to creating a cure for our kind. This is very concerning news indeed. Not every Inhuman will react the same way. Some might actually want this cure, while others would hate the fact that humans would consider it as a disease. We all know that Gorgon definitely will take this quite offensive. And you, what do you think of this cure? Yes, but I'm sure you have mixed. I understand why you have mixed feelings considering the power you have. But you saw let this news interfere with your choice of remaining the way you are. I don't have. Although I never heard your true voice before, I would rather not hear it when I force you to deny who you meant to be just to communicate with me, my king. Besides, you never need to speak for us for me to know what you mean, my king, my king. So what is your decree? For now, we will allow you to accompany Director Coulson and Talbot to this meeting of the president, and tell him, and to inform him, and also inform him that we will also, let's say, pardon me. So and tell him, and please send them. And when you do, please deliver this message from us. Tell him that although we are still undecided on whether or not we find this cure either offensive or perhaps a solution to our dilemma, but when it comes to how you treat our kind, and tell them that either they change how they contain. Tell them either they change how they contain humans, or or they just send the Inhumans that they already have captured to us so we can give them proper care. But if they refuse either request, we will have to answer to us. And if they refuse to change how they secure, we will have to take matters into our own hands and free them ourselves. This is our decree. With all due respect, my queen, if I tell them that they might consider that an act of war, a war, if that's the case, if that's how I look at it, then so be it. Very well then, I will deliver the message. You are right, Legacy. Legacy. The humans' way of dealing with kind is most troublesome. Indeed, and thanks again for allowing me a chance to speak to you. And despite how I met with you the first time, my queen and king. Although I admit the news that the humans actually have a cure for our first inhuman problem, the way they put it, is a surprise to me as well. But nevertheless, how they contain our kind is no surprise at all. And if you want my honest opinion, it's highly doubtful that the humans will actually listen to your demands. We might as well just skip right to the part where we attack the MRD ourselves and free our inhuman brothers and sisters as well. A distasteful idea, but if things don't change, then we may have no choice. My king, we cannot. But Black Bolt, I understand. My king believes what the humans are doing to our kind is wrong. We cannot afford to start a war with the humans. For now, we must put our faith in the humans that we do know for sure are such as Agent Coulson and the Sheild team. We must trust that they will. We must trust that both them and the Avengers will do what they can to help our people the way they best and without causing bloodshed. Of course. But we hope that we can count on your countering in future meetings. Of course, as long as you welcome me into, I'll be more than happy. Happy to help you in any way I can, my queen. My queen. My queen. All right. All right. You got me here. So what's all right. So what's the big emergency? Why was it so important? Important that we meet outside, because outside, away from the base. Because I think we have a lead on Lash. We believe that we think we might know who he is. Like, yes, you do. Then how? Like, all right. Then who? Then we believe that Lash could be someone within. We believe that Lash is in Shield. Wait, what? You heard me. We believe that Lash could be a Shield agent, or perhaps someone that works for Shield, like maybe Dr. Garner. Wait, hold on. Are you implying that Dr. Garner could actually be Lash? We're not just saying that, Mac. We know that Andrew could actually be Lash, and with your help, we might actually be able to prove it. Prove it. Easy, and Eureka! Check this out. Impressive. You have really come a long way since our first session, Dante. Yeah, before I want nothing to do with these powers, but now look what I'm able to do, and look what I've done, and in fact what I did to those guns back at the MARD facility that was full of those corrupt agents. This proves that I meant to do so much more. I mean, when I first got these powers, I thought there was nothing but trouble. And now I see that they can actually help me help me in ways that I know, such as like, back when I was a foreman, I only had to use I was forced to use the equipment to just to tear down and build, tear down old buildings and build new ones. But with my powers, I could actually I actually make doing half the job 10 times faster. With my powers, I can destroy a building in a matter of seconds, and then allowing me and my fellow foremen to build a new building just like that without going through all the paperwork and stuff, stuff like that. So I'm pleased to see. I'm pleased to see that you want to deal with your powers. Yeah, I guess it was all. I guess it's so. I guess what. I guess it's so. I guess so that when it comes to dealing with powers, it's all about a matter of control, right? Raw, Dr. Garner, are you still there? Yes. Sorry, I just dozed off for a minute. You're right. It's all about control. But you must understand. But I must admit, although I'm glad to see that you have learned to cope with your new living with these powers of yours, I'm also concerned that, because I'm a new concern, that you might get too dependent on these powers, and you might think that these powers are not who you are. That you might misuse. Well, I know the ninjas that use these powers, but powers. But I know that Daisy believes that I could be a benefit to. I could be a member of her team. And before, when she first, I had my doubts, but now I realize that perhaps Daisy has a point. Maybe she saw something in me that I didn't see myself before, but now I do. I could be a great asset to Sheild, or you could be a liability. What? Your powers your powers can be a benefit if you could always know how to control them. But what happens if you can't? What if something happens where you lose control just for a second? Well, if even for a minute you lose control of your powers, what could happen? You could burn down an entire city block or an entire city if you're not careful. For example, if you know this, and you it's in May, you can't Dr. Garner in the middle of a session. Okay, May, what's going on here? I mean, this session you have with Dante is over. You two, I need you two to get Dante out of here now. But we can't just do that, ma'am. You know, but there's protocols that are in place. That are in place. Then follow them, but get them out of here now. All right, then come with us, Mr. Sun. Okay, May, what do you think you're doing? May, getting us alone. Before I do anything, I need to know. I need to know if what I heard is true. What are you talking about? What do you mean you heard is true? I had a talk with Warren von Strucker a few hours ago, and he told me what really happened that day at that drug station. What do you mean? I told you Strucker is dead. No, we saw it fit so many security first. He survived, same as you. I tracked him down. And before I had a chance to arrest him, he told me what really happened back there. He told me that you changed into some sort of monster, that you killed those Hydra agents, and that you purposely just set that drugstore on fire to cover your tracks. What are you saying? I'm saying that you're Lash. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You're actually taking the word of some punk kid over me. I used to be your husband, May. I didn't want to believe it either, but then as soon as I got back to base, I asked Mr. Koenig, Agent Koenig, to give me a full report on your past departures and entrances into base. And he tracked on all of your Koenig tracked on all of your movements, Garner, Andrew. Ever since you first agreed to return to Sheild to help with the Sky, he made a full report. He tracked on all of your movements, tracked on all of your flight patterns, all your appointment schedules, and what I discovered is that all those places you've been to outside of Sheild, they all had one thing in common. They were all close to where dozens of the human reports were reported dead at the scene. May you don't understand. Look, Look, man, I don't understand. Look, you don't understand. What I said is that you have been lying to me this whole time, and that you have been killing innocent inhumans behind my back. It's not what you think. May just give me a minute to explain. I mean, how could this have happened? Look, you don't. How could this have happened? Were you exposed? Were you one? Were you? Are you really one of them? Are you really? Were you one of the people that changed when the terrorism wave hit? And why could you cut it through all this time? I mean, look, man, you don't. How could this have happened? Look, man, you don't understand. Andrew, talk to me. Be enough. Do you? Oh God, what have I done? Oh, figures, wait, what in the world? Anyways, where are we? We're back at the university. I took you to a part of the university where I saw a consultant, so we should be alone here. And you decided to me up to this. By the way, let me out here, man. Get me. I swear, if you don't let me go right now, I swear to God, May, stop, please, don't try to get out. Please, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do to you if you try to resist. So it's true. Well, you are last. It is. You're right. Right, I am last. How long? How long has this been going on? It all started. It's all started ever since the terrorism wave incident. Oh God, it happened. It's all started. It's all started on a day when the Avengers caused terror genesis. When they during the DC incident when they had to replace Ultron's Doomsday Ray with a terrorism disposal unit, or to prevent a global catastrophe. I was walking home after having a session with one of my patients. Trying to reach Agent Coulson to see if he made progress locating Sky. This I was facing my mess. I saw it. I saw the terrorism wave make its way into my direction. At first, I had no idea what's going on, but as soon as I came and caught it with a miss, I suddenly felt weird. I suddenly noticed all this weird rock substance, my body being encased by this rock substance. It was like, it was scary. I felt like I was being cocooned by some sort of being cocooned by an unknown entity. I don't know what happened. How long were we in there? I don't know. Maybe a few minutes. Maybe hours. It was hard to keep track of the time and how long in there. But eventually, I managed to break free from the cocoons. And after I woke up, at first I was relieved. I felt fine, but I was fine. Nothing happened. But I knew that something was different about me. I felt sick. I felt like my heart was in my head instead of my chest. I felt like a part of me was. It was like a part of me was unlocked. Unlocked? What do you mean? Unlocked? I don't know. What do you mean unlocked? Unlocked. And here is where we keep the Inhumans after we find them. We design these gel matrix prisoners so we can contain any type of powers. Have you ever spent some time in here to test it, to reset it? No, because I never need to, because I know how to control my powers. My powers. But if I ever find myself with an undesirable urge to hurt you, then I'll more happy to lock myself up in a place like this. At least it's better than being put in some gel matrix prison where the humans are forced to spend our days being unaware of where they are. Listen, Agent, I understand that you're a human, that you consider our methods distasteful, but I assure you, what we do is for the good of kind. By what exactly? Forcing Inhumans to be cured? That's not what we do here. That's not what he's agreed, Agent Johnson. Sorry, wait. I had put me up in a different location. You must be Agent Johnson. It's an honor to finally meet you in person. My name is my name is Dr. Mac Special is Professor Max Modell. I am the head of Horizon Tech High. I know who you are, Mr. Modell. I have read your papers. You are a very acceptable scientist. Well, you weren't until I found out that you're helping the MARD imprison innocent inhumans. Believe me, I find this method quite distasteful. I mean, how would you ever consider what would happen if the royal family... Do you think that Black Bolt and Medusa will, when they find out about this, and they will once, if Carter hasn't told them already, that they will allow you to keep imprisoning inhumans like this? If they wish to start a war, by all means, I'm more away to go to war with them if they wish. But like I said, Coulson, I'm only following the government's forward orders to do what I need to do to keep the world a safer place. And what about inhumans? When's going to create laws to keep inhumans being safe from your kind? Excuse me? I mean, think about no one's creating a summit to just humans. I mean, before the world found out about inhumans, humans have proven to be only sort of force on us. But I mean, the way they preserve natural resources, the way they intentionally cause destruction of forests. Don't you dare point humankind's past mistakes and how we have lived that world as a way of justifying how we deal with humans, how we run control planet. Nothing to do is nothing to do of our current. Maybe it should be. People, please. Look, I understand. As being a fellow inhuman, you find our methods distasteful, and I agree with you. Believe me. Look, how about you and I have a private conversation alone? Perhaps I can get you to see things differently. By all means, I had enough talking to her myself. Always over here myself. Jesus, with that girl. No, Jesus, that girl. Are you sure? Are you sure you have no idea where? You have no idea where any of them are. Okay, I see. I understand. Is there a problem, Director Coulson? Probably nothing. Probably it's an office where it's gone wrong. Do tell. May was reported to arrive at the same base where Dr. Garner was having a discussion with Dante, but Dante and last reports say that she was talking with Gardner about a private matter, but no one has seen them since. And you think that this is cause for alarm? Probably not. Could be just an office romance gone wrong. Talbot, tell me, how did your conversation with Daisy go? Honestly, I don't know how you put up with that girl for so long. I admit Daisy can be challenging sometimes, but but she is a good agent, and I think for myself, Talbot having to be someone like not you can count on. Yes, I don't understand what her problem is. Well, I'm just trying to do what needs to be done. Look, no, I take pleasure in running the MARD task, allowing my own men to hunt down and imprison every inhuman they come across. That's what let's expect me to do? Just stand idle by what these inhumans cause destruction to our cities, whether they mean to do it or not? Of course not, Talbot. But there are other methods, like take them to Atholan. I'm sure me and the rest of the royal family can help these inhumans that you have apprehended find a place in the world. In this world. And what if you can't? What if most of the humans that we already locked up rather use their powers mispurposely? Is that a risk that you and your family won't want to take? Of course not. Of course not. But we must. But these are. And I agree. These are sketchy times. But we must not let fear call our judgment, Mr. Talbot. Are you accusing me of being afraid? I'm only saying that. But in a Coulson, Fitz, what is it? We got a problem. It's Mac. He has news on Lash. News on Lash. What is it? It's true. I said news on Lash. Well, not welcome aboard, Agent Mackie. More Matt Glenn Kent. Was this my telling? Thank you for bringing us. I know it's fries. Fries, but yes, of course. But for you telling reports, what Faith says is urgent. What's about? Look, we believe that we know who Lash is. Okay, by all means, let's look. Look, before the terror wave incident, the Inhuman will finally has developed a unit to track down Inhumans. Those who before they knew one of their heads and before they went through the mess. Yes, it's all right here. Where do you get that? From Andrew Garner's office. It used to belong to Maximus. Yeah, Maximus the Mad. Maximus now you mean, of course. Well, anyway, Maximus helped create this letter to help the royal family find and locate those our Inhuman descendants, our fellow Inhumans that have been living in the outside world. That's how I use the problem here, and of course, yes, I seen it. Yes, but part of the raids that we made with the government, we are allowed that this officer to be in Shield's possession. Yes, and I gave it to Dr. Garner because I thought it could help him in his work with the Inhumans that we round up. Yes, and we believe that's how we use it. Wait, are you saying that Lash? Are you saying that Andrew is Lash? That we think we know, and based on this evidence that we found, it is undeniable that Andrew is Lash. I was on the phone with the base where Andrew and May were last seen. They told me that he left without trace. I actually saw May. I actually saw May on my way out, and she looked just straight. But oh God, you don't think that Simmons tell the flight turn this plane around. Tell him you go found how done. Fitz understood. Understood. Well, listen, I hate to say it, but the president will have to wait. I understand. It's the point that we help our own institutions, and whatever you need, we'll provide it. All right then. I can't believe that Lash has been under nose this whole time as Dr. Garner. You don't. Of course, you don't think Andrew is would hurt May, do you? Do you? I hope not. But I'd be really surprised if he would. But we just hope we can find him in time before we get out of hand. After what you mean that something got unlocked? Well, after I went through this after the Terrigen wave, after I came out of that cocoon-like substance, I eventually had this need. I can't explain it. I suddenly had this uncontrollable need to be around them. I had to find them, the Inhumans. I can't explain it. It's like a hunger on my skin. Fortunately, I wasn't the only Inhuman around that area that changed when the Terrigen wave hit. There was another person around close by in my exact location where I was that also changed around the same time I did. When I instantly felt I needed to confront him, and before we had a chance to say a word, I suddenly lost control I suddenly lost control on my body, and I just lashed out. You wouldn't. I knew that you wouldn't understand what happened. I was trying, so I had to see it from you. I knew that I knew that if you and Sheild found out that the Terrigen wave is determining some sort of monster, that you would lock me up. I didn't want, so I kept a distance from you. Well, I didn't want to hurt you, mate. So why you didn't so distant from me? Because you, look, I didn't. The reason why that's the day I love you, mate. I was trying to protect you. Trying to protect you. But so now all this time you've been hunting down and humans, killing them. You're a Andrew. You're a doctor. You believe in helping people. You're right. I do, and I still do. I still do. That's why. Look, believe me. I didn't. I never wanted to. I never wanted to this life. I never wanted to spend the rest of my days killing people just because they found out they were part of a world they had never. But I believe I fought the earth. But then the all changed when I met him. Him who's him. Legacy. See, after I tried my best to fight this earth, to fight my desire to hunt down and kill the humans. I was help in my family's cabin, trying to beat this hunger I have. When he found me, Dr. Andrew Gardner, you're a hard man to find. Who are you? How did you find this place? How did you find this place? Because like you, Dr. Gardner, I too was blessed with extraordinary abilities when the Terrigen wave hit. You're one of them. That's right. No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He used some sort of weird energy blast, which reverted me back to my human form as soon as I changed into Lash. Oh, how did you? This was something I created. Now, what was it? Oh, yes. I said, like you, I was too blessed with getting extraordinary powers. Before I became inhuman, I was just another petty crime lord. Usually, I used to run the Italian mob before the Terrigen wave ended. But after that day, after the Terrigen wave hit my location, I became inhuman. And as soon as I emerged from the cocoon, I instantly became aware of my purpose and the destiny that destiny that fate put into motion for me. But so you're saying that you were destined to become inhuman? For what? The same reason that fate gave you these powers. To restore balance, to make things how they used to be. Tell me, Dr. Gardner. Ever since you became inhuman, what did you what you started to crave? Ever since I came out of mist, I had uncontrollable urge to hunt down and kill inhumans. Inhumans, exactly. And why do you think that is? I don't know. I don't know why I begin. Well, I do. I believe you see, Dr. Gardner, for centuries, there has been a natural order of things. Inhumans living separate from humans and mutants, choosing a certain few to go through a Terrigen mist, to be given extraordinary powers to offer a chance to live a life of wonder and great promise amongst the Inhumans of Atalan. But now but after Ultron and Maximus thought that they could take the power of Atalan and use it for their own petty gains, their misguided efforts has caused the world to plunge into chaos. Now every Inhuman descendant has received their powers prematurely, same as you and me. And such things and such now grows full of Inhumans that cannot handle having these powers, or using these powers unjustly, or for their own petty gains. Petty gains. Why use such things? He says, let's say that my inhuman abilities have allowed me to gain some insight allow me to receive insight into a world that existed long before the world that we live in today. You see, my inhuman ability allows me to communicate with my ancestors, ancestors that were inhuman like me, who not like myself, have lived their lives amongst the peoples of Atlan, who have lived in a world where there was balance, and now they screamed and begged me to help restore that balance. And you can help me, last. You help me, Dr. Gardner. I believe that that you can help me and my ancestors restore balance to this world. How? By only killing the Inhumans that were exposed to the Terrigen wave, Inhumans that Inhumans that received his powers before the royal family could determine whether they were meant to have these powers or not. But you're asking me to kill dozens of Inhumans that Inhumans that could be innocent, even Inhumans that are innocent who Inhumans that not even consider using their powers for petty gain. And sometimes the needs of the many must overweigh the needs of the few, Dr. Garner. It's true you'll be forced to kill Inhumans that wish nothing more than to try to preserve whatever form of normal life they wish to have. But it's all for the greater good. Trust me, Dr. Garner. If you only knew what I knew, you would. You see, if you only embrace the change, if you only listen to the instincts that now drive you, you'll see that this power isn't a curse, but a blessing. That you have been blessed of a great and noble mission. And what mission is that? And what mission is that? To restore order to this troubled world, to be the lash of justice, to be. And that's what. Actually, your new name to be Lash. What do you think of it? I think it makes sense. So let me say, after having this chat with this so-called legacy, you believe that you actually believe what he's saying is true? True. Believe me, it was never my intention to follow the advice of a former crime lord, but the more I thought about what he told me that day makes sense. Where he said actually makes sense to everything that I am now dealing with inside me ever since I went through that change. I changed, and the more I hunted down those Inhumans, the more I realized that what he told me is true, that I am part of a grand plan, that I am destined with great purpose. You mean killing Inhumans, whether they're innocent or not? Sometimes considering that you're a part of an organization that makes tough calls every day. I don't see why you don't making an effort to understand my side of things. I mean, take what happened in Bahrain, for instance. You did what you had to do to protect your fellow agents. I never wanted to kill that little girl. Of course not. And believe me, I don't want to do what I'm doing either. But believe me, but I have to because it's necessary. Alright, this is it. You have your orders, man. Surround the building and make sure no one, make sure this Andrew Olash character doesn't get out. Remember, it's the Coast Arts, man. Let him take the lead on this. Take the lead on this. Alright, I remember the plan. You two are only here as back. Only here as backup. Let me hear as well, Crystal. I know what you're gonna say, but don't tell me to say Albus. I was gonna say be careful, and you save me all the time. Wait, so let me join? Well, it wasn't for you. No one would have found out the truth, so you could have along. Just remember, this is close. I mean, only attack, yes, and you're coming on too, Ava. Please call me White Tiger. And besides, I owe Lash some payback too. Let's promise you to give me a chance to talk to Andrew myself before you go all wildcat on him. I won't make any promises, but I'll try. Fair enough, dude. Fair enough, dude. Fair enough, dude.